Samira, can you tell us something about you, what you do?
So if people want to speak to their deceased parents or siblings or friends, they come to me and I facilitate the conversations because I'm a medium. So the conversations happen through me.
Can you just tell us what is the spirit guide? Because we are talking about them, but we actually don't know.
You will find surprising, Shweta, is that they could also be extraterrestrial. They could be from another planet.
So, calling them back to us, does that hamper their journey over there?
But typically the calling will not happen because you want it. The calling will happen because they want it.
It has ever been with you that you called somebody and that hampered your peace?
More than spirits hampering, people's energies have hampered.
The existing people.
Living people.
When was the first time you felt like, I'm getting some messages or something is happening with me, I don't know what to do about it?
He has been talking to me since my 20s, and I know when he's talking to me because he is emotionless. He has that one tonality in which he speaks, and he will just say it and he will move on.
So you're trying to say that a person is on deathbed and there's another soul, like that person is dead, and there's
Another soul comes and takes over that body.
and he's fulfilling his whatever the karma is left.
Yeah, the soul is fulfilling the soul's karma.
And this
that's left.
happens.
Well, it supposedly has happened with me. I have been told. I don't know whether it's true.
Hi, Sharmila.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on Dear Voice podcast. आपका स्वागत है.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sharmila, can you tell us something about you, what you do?
So I'm what they call a psychic. I'm also a spiritual healer, and I practice many modalities, such as automatic writing, which is where we speak to deceased people. So if people want to speak to their deceased parents or siblings or friends, they come to me and I facilitate the conversations because I'm a medium. So the conversations happen through me. I also do spirit guide communication, which is sometimes kaisa hota hai ki, people, despite all the manifestations, despite all the prayers, they don't find answers for certain things. So that's when then I connect them with the spirit guides, and actually the spirit guides give us all the answers in terms of what they're missing, what they need to do. I also do energy cleansing, and then I do animal communication for deceased animals and live animals, and I do tarot with downloads also. So I also use a mix of modalities and create my own programs for healing people.
Okay. So what is automatic writing? What it is? Because I've heard it for the first time.
So in automatic writing, you essentially communicate with somebody who's passed away. क्या होता है कि very often people, deaths have been sudden or they've been traumatic, and it leaves a lot of unfinished conversations. And a lot of the family members who are living family members want to communicate to understand certain things. They sometimes need guidance on certain issues, या तो they need answers on certain things. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि like I know cases I've had where we've actually solved family disputes or certain other events to do with financial issues, and they get the answers because very often if it's somebody who's been controlling everything in the family, if it's a head of the family and he passes away, तो बाकी लोगों को मालूम नहीं कि what has been happening, what is the status of affairs, and the guidance comes from them.
So they tell you like where's the papers and how I have investment.
They have actually told me. I have actually had this one case, and this was not even an automatic writing case, but it was a case of a download I got where I was sitting with someone, and suddenly her father came to me and said, "Please ask her to look under the bed. There is a suitcase filled with all my papers, और उसमें मेरा PF का certificate है, जिसमें she has to claim it because she has not claimed it." और उसने amount भी बताया, and she went and checked. Yes. And that girl, jab she went and checked it, it was the same amount. She found the paper.
And what is the process? Like you connect with them and they give you like you write it. How it works?
It is called automatic writing because एक ज़माने में there was only pen and paper. आजकल तो we record. So I speak to them and I record the session, and then I give the session to the client because बाद में मुझे कुछ याद नहीं आता है. As I'm in a medium, I'm in a kind of a trance. So it has also happened where I've spoken in their voice, or I've spoken in a certain tonality that they've used, or words that they've used. But the messages are very clear. They will tell you exactly कि ये cupboard में वो इसमें मेरे सोने का chain है. आपने क्यों? I had one lady who actually told her daughter कि मेरे कपड़े क्यों दे दिए आपने? Because she had come up from a very hard background. तो मतलब चुन चुन के hardly hard earned money से share everything, and she's like आप ऐसे मेरे कपड़े आपने सबको दे दिया, क्यों दे दिया? मैंने इतने मतलब मेहनत से I had made all that and kept it. So it is amazing the details that come in from them. And it's not, I mean, some people are very skeptical about it, but my response to that is, I have never met you in my life. I don't know anything about you. I don't know anything about the person deceased. How will I get such information? Where does it come from?
And you connect to the deceased souls also.
That's right, yeah.
And how does that work?
So there is a process. I start with a prayer and an energy cleansing. So if you were to come to me for an auto writing session, I'd start with the prayer. Then I would clean your energies. So I basically create a protective bubble around you, because at the end of the day, hum log ek portal we're opening. You don't know what's going to come or what's going to this thing.
Yes.
And so I clear your energies, and then I invite the soul. And you know by what the soul says, or I can see the soul in terms of, I can see how he's walking. I know how his voice sounds. I see what they're wearing. And then I will tell you that, this is the person, and does he talk like this? Does he have this? And he's saying this. And that itself is the validation. You will know whether the soul is the same soul or not.
And you don't look on their photos or anything?
I only get the photo before the session, because I need to know whether that person is still there, or whether he's transitioned to another life. Because if he's reborn, then I can't connect with him. Then he's in another body. So that is the only type. Otherwise, but photos jo bechte and what I see is what they're wearing is...
it's confirmation.
It's confirmation. What he liked to eat, what he's wearing, what he's asking you.
And how different these two things, like automatic writing and connecting with the deceased soul, how different it is, or similarity?
So automatic writing is connecting with the deceased soul. Automatic writing is different from spirit guide communication. Yeah. Spirit guide communication, you'll have your spirit guides who come. So in spirit guide communication, the guides can be somebody you're very fond of who's passed away, or it could be an animal, or it could be the higher masters, or it could be anyone it could be even people you don't know. Like, I know when I do Akashic records, in my spirit guides, I see Roman warriors, I see a pygmy, I see an African princess, I see all sorts of people. And the guides need not necessarily be the same. Some guides come to you at a time because, they feel that you need them the most at that time, and then they move on. Some guides are always with you. It always changes.
So can you just tell us what is the spirit guide? Because we are talking about them, but we actually don't know. Who are they? Why they are with us? What is their identity?
So identity, one can find out if they choose to reveal, their identity. Spirit guides sabke hote hain.
Okay.
Everyone in this world will have a spirit guide. Unfortunately, we are all so caught up in our life. Yeah, we are caught up in chasing money, fame, success. Yeah, metro pakarna hai, train pakarna hai, We don't have the time to sit and listen to the guides, but everyone has a spirit guide. Spirit guides are always talking to you. Unfortunately, the human ego comes before the human intuition or the human instinct. So spirit guides can be people, say, if, people who've loved you, who have passed away, like your grandparents, or your parents, or close friends, or even animals. Or they could be just anyone appointed by the higher masters to watch over you and guide over you. But everyone has a spirit guide, and when you seek their help, it is their duty to help you in some way or the other. Now, there are two ways things can happen. One is that when you ask for something and you get it, so you say, "Arey wah, Bhagwan ne sun liya, my guides have listened to me." Kabhi-kabhi aisa bhi hota hai ki you won't get it, but that is also protection. But people don't realize that, so you may want something, but the guide knows that if I give this person, there is something bad attached to it. So you will not get it, or you will get it when the time is right. So they work in very mysterious ways.
So is there any way that we want, like if I'm praying, okay, now I want a spirit guide. I might be having one already,
Hmm.
but okay, I just want to get through this situation and I want somebody to help. It's like
Hmm.
a prayer.
Right.
So, do we get somebody like that also for a particular situation or the problem?
You will get someone for a situation. There are certain guides for specific situations. Sometimes the guide will deliberately not help you because it wants you to see everything is a learning.
Yeah.
So sometimes they will not help you because they want you to learn something from it. Yeah, so they want you to become stronger. Yeah, through that you will find something else. So they, like I said, they work very mysteriously. But you will eventually, at some point of time, realize the connection that's happening at that time. The other factor that also plays into such things is karma. All of us have karmic journeys. All of us, the people we come into every life, are people we've been with in various other lives. So sometimes something is not happening because it is your karmic journey and your karmic cycle, and you have to go through that. And once you go through that and you've learned your lesson from that, that's when the karma gets cut off. And the karma is like a bank balance, there's a credit and a debit. So once you've learned that and you say, okay, yeah, you've learned your lesson, then that karma is absolved. So like I said, there are so many factors actually at play, with it. But eventually you will always get what is right for you. So I always feel that one of the things people should pray for is, rather than praying for a specific thing, is pray for what is right for you, what works for your higher self, what works for your bestest self. And I will tell you why I'm saying that is because there are people who, say for instance, who have weight loss issues, okay?
Yes.
And they'll say, Bhagwan, mujhe please, I want to be thin. I want to be thin for the rest of my life. Now you might just end up with some kind of a disease or some kind of an illness, which, yes, you've lost the weight, but you've lost your health also. So you have to pray for something that works for you.
So it's like, instead of removing, ask for replacement.
Ask for replacement, ask for something that is best for you, that works for you, because only they know what is best for you. You might think, because हम लोग सब one dimensional है when we do our thinking.
Yes.
We think, नहीं मुझे, if I get this, this is what will work for me. But sometimes that is not coming because there is something better waiting for you. So it has to make place for that better thing to come into your life.
So weight loss and beauty is like never ending issue and topic, like so sometimes it happens that people come to you like, suddenly I'm putting on weight and nothing is working, I'm working out, dieting and everything. क्या वो भी किसी चीज से related होता है, like?
Yes, it can be. Sometimes it can be karmic also, because for instance there have been times when in your previous life ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि you were very poor and you didn't have food to eat. So your dying thought, a lot of the karma also comes from what you've gone through life, and also this when you are dying at your deathbed, what is that thought that goes into your head? So the person's dying thought might have been that, hey Bhagwan, in my next life, please give me so much money, so much food that I don't have anything to suffer. And that's what happens. So that is also there. Sometimes it could be various other issues. I mean, sometimes there are mostly medical issues also. But yes, it can be karmic also. Weight loss can be karmic, money is karmic, health is karmic. The way we treat people, the way people treat us. Sometimes you'll see कि मैंने क्या किया है इस बंदे का, लेकिन why is he so angry at me? Or why is this person, मुझे देखते उसको क्यों गुस्सा आता है? Why does he treat me like this? I'm doing nothing to him. But in your previous life, you don't know what you've done to him. And there have been many stories, many cases, many real life instances when people have been taken into their previous life, and that life could have happened even 500 lives back. But the soul has been carrying that. See, because the soul holds everything. So the soul has been carrying that all those lives. So you don't know which life it is unless you take person into regression, and then they find, okay, that it's so-and-so life. This is what I did to a
And that
person.
issue can be solved.
That issue can be solved, yes.
And how it works, because this is something people always think कि मैंने तो ऐसा कुछ किया नहीं, मैं तो सबके साथ अच्छा ही कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ, तो मेरे साथ ही बुरा क्यों हो रहा है?
So again, through a process of regression, or there are other processes also where you kind of resolve that karma. There are ways in which you can actually resolve that karma with certain processes.
And what was, like, when was the first time you felt like, I'm getting some messages or something is happening with me, I don't know what to do about it, like the first experience?
That would have happened to me it started happening to me in my 20s.
Mm.
When I started getting these messages, I was getting a lot of downloads. I still get a lot of downloads. The downloads are given to me by this one person whom I call the voice.
Mm.
I don't know who he is. He's one of my guides. He
Mm.
refuses to identify himself.
Mm.
He is also a guide who does not want to take on a human life.
Mm.
And he has been talking to me since my 20s. And I know when he's talking to me because he is emotionless. He has that one tonality in which he speaks, and he will just say it and he will move on. And the messages come not only for me, but I remember in one place, one case, there was I was I was in a gym, and every time this one girl would cross me, he would come up and say, "Ask her how her mother is."
Oh.
Yeah, and I ignored it. And then every time I'd see her, that message, it would like one ting, 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 ting. Ask her how her mother is. Ask her how her mother is. So fortunately, I knew that girl off and on. So one day I went and told her, I said, see, please don't misunderstand, but how is your mother? Because I'm getting messages.
Mm.
And she said, and it even told me what the condition was.
Oh.
So she said, yeah, exactly. My mother is going through that. And I said, well, I've been told that you need to change your doctor and you need to do 1, 2, 3. And she said, that's exactly what we are planning to do right now. And then she called me back and she said, please tell your guide that he was very right, because what the guide told me is what the doctor told me. And we're actually following that. So I have no explanation for this, you know, but it happens. It happens for people. It happens for myself. It happens for things. There have been times when sadly, I even know when a certain person is going to die. I have a range of, like I know in this certain time period, a person is going to die. So it has its perks being medium and being intuitive, and it does not also. It's a very heavy burden we also
Yes,
carry.
yes. I was just going to ask, like, sometime you're in a public place and there are a certain person and you're getting some kind of message about her or him, but you don't know how to convey that because everybody you cannot approach, right?
Absolutely.
So sometimes that happens with you.
Happens very often. I have to just keep quiet. Because firstly, I have to take a person's permission before I give them the message. I can do that with people I know, like the people who trust me. And now my friends, my close circle, they know, okay, she gets downloads, she gets messages, and the messages typically come correct. But I'll be sitting next to a stranger and I can see a lot of things that are happening. But main kya karu? I know once there was somebody in sitting, in a group circle, and I knew that he's going to have a potential heart attack.
Yeah.
He's going to have cardiac problems. But I can't just go up and tell him, no, he's going to say, who the hell are you?
उसको वैसे ही हो जाएगा heart attack.
हाँ, उसको वैसे ही हो जाएगा heart attack, So it becomes a bit ethical issues भी होते हैं ना उसमें, बहुत धर्म संकट भी होता है, because you can prevent something. Recently I had another case, another situation happened where I think my channels must have been open, and someone I know who'd passed away came to me and he said, look, I'm very worried. My son is getting into drugs. And please call up my family and tell them. And I said, I can't do that. So we have a rule also in automatic writing that, if you get messages like this, you're not supposed to convey those messages till a physical person is present. And very often it is the soul who arranges the meeting between the automatic writer and the physical person and the member of the family. So हम लोग हमेशा ये सोचते हैं कि अच्छा मुझे बात करना है मेरे डैडी से, तो then I'll find someone, but it's the other way around actually. The person up there wants to convey a message, and then that is how they will put you in touch, family member in touch with an automatic writer. It's happened with me so often. So these coincidences just happen. And this man came to me and he said, look, but I need you to call up my wife because my son is in bad company. He had passed away when his kids were very young. And he said, there's a lot of financial issues, and my son is getting into drugs, and please call up and tell. I couldn't do it because I didn't know his family. How do you call up somebody and say, hey, listen, your husband who passed away came to me and he's very worried that your son is getting into drugs? because that situation might not even be there, or they might be in denial, or they might not know about it. The son is not going to stand up and say, yes, I'm getting into drugs.
So how difficult it becomes for you to safeguard yourself, because I'm sure when you're getting messages and all, there is a lot of energy going up and down. So how you manage your aura between all this?
Processes, protection rituals, protection processes, grounding. Before I get into, or rather, not even before I get into any session, but every morning, I start with my own protection rituals. Because, like you said, I'm opening myself so anything can get in. So, there's a whole ritual that I do to myself. Then there are crystals, there is prayers, there is strength of character and there's integrity. Because to be like this, you can't be weak. You have to be strong willed. Otherwise, anything will try and manipulate you. I've actually had a case in Mount Abu where there was a presence in my room, and the presence tried to control, and I had to actually fight it back. And the only reason I could do that is because of that time I was not even into all this. This happened a long time back, but I was just fighting it back and saying, no, I'm not going to let you affect me. And it finally moved away. It was in the room only, but it didn't attack. I've had psychic attacks also on me. I've woken up once feeling like I couldn't breathe, and there was someone sitting on me trying to choke me.
See, there is, panic attack and there is psychic attack. And sometimes people are not able to differentiate it. What are the sign that we should understand that this is something different from your regular panic attack?
I've never really thought about this, but okay, a panic attack is typically triggered by a situation. You have to go on stage and speak, or you have an interview, or you have an exam. There is an actual trigger for a panic attack. Psychic attacks don't have triggers. They can just happen suddenly. They might happen when you're sleeping. They might happen when they mostly happen when you're sleeping, actually. So there's no trigger actually for that. It will just be there because there's somebody who's maybe trying to take control of you. And actually, psychic attacks also happen a lot to people who are slightly, going through a very weak, vulnerable position in their time, especially if they have, say, lost someone or they're going through some kind of emotional crisis. That's when it makes them most vulnerable to psychic attacks.
These kind of entities.
Because at the end of the day, the entities, the negative entities that are there, they are looking for a body. Some of them don't want to release. They still want to stay on earth. And they're looking for a body to control. So that's the thing. So, which is why it's very important, I think, to be spiritually strong. I think it's very important to be emotionally strong, physically strong. I think strength should happen on all, mentally strong, so that you try and fight whatever you can on earth, but because you don't want to really open yourself or be victim to or prey to somebody supernatural, so some supernatural forces. And just as there are bad supernatural forces, there are good supernatural forces who will protect you also. And I've been in situations where there was this case of this lady, and there was some black magic being done, which I had guessed. And then when I was doing a spirit guide communication, her mother actually came with one full band of her aunts and women, and was actually sitting out there and fighting this force.
And all in spirit.
And they were all just fighting the force back.
That black magic.
The black magic force back. It diluted a bit. Then I don't know what the eventual thing was, because then she lost touch. But I think it did dilute.
So when people come to you and they are saying that we want to connect with a certain person, and how you understand that no, this person is not going to come through because they are crossed over, or okay, he's ready to come, how you convey that to them, because that is also a kind of shocker for them,
I don't know. I don't. The thing is, Shweta, these are not logical. There's no logical process for this. So I can't give you a logical answer. When I was studying automatic writing, this is the same question I asked my teacher.
Okay.
That, ma'am, when I see, how will I know? When I see the photograph, how will I know that that person is there or not there? And she had told me the same thing, it will come to you.
You will understand.
You will understand, it will come to you. So, Photographs actually, वो जो कहते हैं ना, the windows are, your eyes are to the window to your soul, is actually very true.
Oh.
Yeah. So with me in particular, and I think it's definitely it's my guides or somebody helping me. But मुझे photo देख के पता चलता है कि not only is that person alive or not, but I can tell you things about that person's character. I can tell you things about what that person is, has gone through. I can tell you maybe how that person died. So it just talks to me, yaar. I don't know. I don't have a logical answer for this question. And typically, before an automatic writing session, the person comes to me and tells me a few things, which I immediately write down. So, and then I'll tell the client, I'll say, okay, so and so did come to me, and these are the messages. And she says, yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's what we want to know. And then by that itself is validation that you're talking to the right person. I think I've just been picked for this. I was never into all this at one time, even though my family is from psychics.
Yeah.
I was never really, I never thought of being a healer.
So how did you start it?
I was actually corporate. I'm ex-advertising.
Oh.
And one of the most toxic industries. So I was this typical hard-nosed, aggressive person. And एक दिन I don't know what happened. Interest तो था. I was always curious and reading up and all that. And I remember one day I was working on something and I just suddenly stopped and I looked up and I said, I'm going to become an automatic writer. And I don't know why I said that. I don't know where that voice came from. I was literally like, huh? Kaun bola? It was like that. And then in 2023, so I kind of predicted my own death also at one time, yes. Which I don't remember. My friends have told me that. It happened at a New Year's party, saying that, hey, you know what, in the next 1.5 to 2 years, I'm going to die. And I moved on. I went back to partying. And it did happen, actually. I had a very bad case. I was traveling. I had a very bad appendix case. And I was out of the country. And I knew healthcare elsewhere is shit. So I wanted to come back to India and get it done. And I came back and my doctor was actually surprised I was alive. Because the condition had gone so bad that I should have been dead, typically. But they said somebody's obviously holding you up. And then there's another healer who has another theory, which is, I don't know if you know about this, but there's also a theory called walk-ins. So walk-in is essentially when another soul takes over your body.
Oh.
And it happens at the time of death. And so typically a walk-in is a soul who has a mission that they want to complete in this life. It has a mission which they wanted to complete, but they were not able to complete because they died at a certain time. And now they want to complete that mission, but they do not want to go through the whole process of, birth and infanthood and childhood and adulthood and all that. They want to go straight and pick up the mission from where they left it off.
So you're trying to say that a person is on deathbed and there's another soul, like that person is dead, and there's
another soul comes and takes over that body.
And he's fulfilling his whatever the karma is left.
Yeah, the soul is fulfilling the soul's karma.
And this happens.
Well, it supposedly has happened with me. I have been told. I don't know whether it's true. But I met somebody and I met her after some 15 years, and by then she'd also got into some sort of healing practice and all that. And she looked at me and she said, I didn't recognize you energetically. And then she told me this.
That's what my question is. Like, did you felt any changes in your behavior or in your nature?
Yes, nature, mostly nature. One of the things I remember when I went through that surgery was when I got out of the surgery, one thing I remember is that I remember pitch black, which I think must have been the tunnel. Because in that moment, I also remember saying, oh my God, is this what pitch black looks like? Because I've never seen pitch black. And I remember that thought because that's the thought I had when I was under anesthesia or when I woke up. And when I woke up and the doctors later on told me, they actually told my family members, they said that we don't know how she's alive. She had nearly died. She should have been dead.
So it's basically near-death experience.
It's a near-death experience. Abhi, I don't, I should have asked him at that time, did I die during that process? Because it's possible that I did die and was resuscitated or what. I didn't ask him that. But they call me a miracle case because my appendix is totally shattered. And he said I was pulling out pieces of it. And they can't believe how I survived it. And post that is actually when I got onto this journey in a big way. So
Your spiritual journey.
Spiritual journey. Like I told you, I was always corporate, very harsh, very aggressive, very insensitive, very corporate, you know how it is. It's survival at the end of the day. I'm just the opposite. And a lot of people who know me then and know me now keep telling me that they say they don't use the word changed. They say you're transformed. They say you're different. You're not the same person. The good thing is that at least I think the walk-ins who come in are typically the ones who are the nicer ones and not the negative ones, So,
but sometimes that happens that some negative people come as a walk-in.
I think given a possibility they could, but I'm not very sure. I actually no. I don't think the negative ones would really be allowed to because they somewhere they are. आपको सच बोलूँ, once souls go up there, there's no positive or negative. The negative ones are typically in realms which are lower realms. They're not, even when you go up there are 7 levels, and most people start from the 4th or the 5th level, depending on the work you've done out here. Some go to the 6th. The 7th is where all your sadhus and your babas and the higher ascended masters,
the sages
and all that, they go to the 7th. And even in between each level, there are sub-levels and all that. So, not really negative. And people who go up there are, they're all very forgiving. They don't hold on to the earthly attachments or, angers or behaviors that they had here. I've had only one case of auto-writing where, or 2 cases actually, where the person didn't want to speak to the physical person because they were still angry about certain things, And in fact, one of them was a mother and daughter, and the mother then came to me and said also that, no, I've been telling you this all along and you don't listen to me. But they otherwise are mostly, they've crossed over to another realm. There was another case where the daughter told me, she says, "Arey, but my father used to be so talkative. He used to joke such a lot. He used to do this." And I had to explain to her that, look, when they go up there, they're different people. He's probably calmed down. He probably does not want to communicate. So she, I think, was not very convinced about the session.
That is her father.
That's her father. But he did say certain things which proved that it was her father. But the thing is, if he's gone there and he's gone through his own transformation, why will he? There's nothing. I always try to dig deeper and get them to talk. But you knew he didn't want to talk, and he was very happy where he was, and
sometimes like diseased ones, they are so happy over there that they don't want to get connected again into the same.
They don't want to talk, and he was not very curious. I mean, not very interested. So I try to dig as much as possible to get as much information. But when they want to go, they leave.
How difficult it is for you, because India is like very what to say. We Indian like everything, no extravagance thing. Like अगर कोई ऐसे मंदिर में बैठ के बोल रहा है कि आत्मा आ गई है, तो हम believe करते हैं. But suddenly somebody is from corporate wearing a suit and saying, "Hey, listen, I get connected with the soul." So there, do you get that kind of feedbacks?
No, not really. I mean, I don't look like the typical spiritual healer. I don't wear malas and gowns and all that kind of thing. I'm a normal human being, as normal as you are, as everybody else is out here. But I think what happens to me typically is because I'm intuitive और मुझे downloads आते हैं, तो कभी-कभी लोग थोड़ा डर जाते हैं. They're a little scared of, oh, you'll know everything about us. And I'm saying, I'm not a psychic 24/7. I'm a psychic when I need to be a psychic. I'm a psychic when I know I have a session. I'm a psychic when my guides give me some communication because they're trying to protect me or warn me or pass on some information. But ऐसा नहीं है कि 24/7 I'm looking at this personality saying I know everything about you. You know, it's not like that. I have a life too. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in somebody else's life all the time.
So basically, it's the radio until you start
Correct.
it,
It's
you
like
won't
that.
start.
Yeah, it's a frequency. You
It's
know,
a frequency.
It only comes to me if I tune into that frequency. But I'm not going to be tuned into that frequency all the time because then it's exhausting for me also. You know,
Energetically,
energetically
also,
it's very
yes.
exhausting. Like after I do aura cleansings and after I do chakra recharging and all that, I am straight away hit for a sugar jar because the energy that it takes out of you, because I'm giving that person my energy, and that is a very exhausting process. Any energy work is a very exhausting process, so no one wants to be tuned into it 24/7. People still, I think there is a lot of misunderstanding about these things. There's a lot of stereotypes. A lot of it is also all our Hollywood and Bollywood and all these films. Yeah, they portray things in such different ways. People say, oh, it's automatic writing like Ouija board. And I'm like, no, it's not at all like Ouija board. And please don't do that Ouija board. वो जो planchette कहते हैं ना, कभी मत करना. Because planchette is the scary thing.
Okay.
I have done planchette with 2 people that did it, and whatever the spirit came and said came absolutely true for everyone. But it was a very emotional experience, and I refused to do planchette after that. Tabhi to I was also very young. I was in my 20s.
So how different it is, this planchette thing and the getting connected with the diseased soul?
See, getting connected with the deceased soul there is a whole process to it. Planchette is a game. It's a party game that people do. Okay, there are people who also do it seriously, but if you're not a strong medium, you really don't know who is coming. You have to ask those validation questions. क्या होता है? Planchette done by the right people may give you the answers, but most of the time it is not the right people who are doing it. It is people getting drunk at a party. It is students in a hostel saying चलो भूत प्रेत को बुलाते हैं. And that's not right, because you will call someone, you don't know who you're calling, and if that person doesn't leave, then what happens to you?
But Sharmila, sometime it have happened that you have called somebody and they don't want to go. They are refusing to go back. Have you had that kind of experience?
Not really, because I'm calling the legitimate people, and when they're actually very happy to leave. Some of them want to leave even before the session because it's a much nicer world up there. And even if they don't leave, then you call your gods and your spirit guides to take them and to escort them back to where they come from.
And the same happened with the people who have had a sudden death or akasmik mrityu jo bolte hain.
They leave. I've had one case where, of course, I know different religions and different cultures have different time periods for reincarnation. From what I have studied, we have been told it's about 20 to 25 years. But I actually had one lady who had not reincarnated for 45 years.
Oh.
Because she had passed, when she passed away, her children were toddlers, they were babies, and she wanted to communicate with them. So, but she also left. I mean, she came back. We had a session with one child, and then we had the session with the second child, and I think she would have gone up or been reincarnated now. But they go. I mean, if you've got that's why I say, planchette and all, you don't know whom you're calling, what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not a game. You can't play with them.
So it's like you're calling unknown people, and when you're
calling
known people, your relatives or friends or whom you know.
See, planchette में क्या होता है? Like sometimes you will try and call a known person, okay? Like you will, and most of these people will typically call deceased film stars, or they will call deceased singers or famous personalities. Now there are a lot of imposters also. Somebody might come and say that I'm so and so person. That's why they say in planchette you should never call people you are close to, because anybody can come, pretend to be that person, mess with your mind and go away.
Oh, that
also happens, because he's a mischief maker, na? So he'll come and tell you some ada teda.
And how you will differentiate the genuinity of the soul, that no, this is the right person and this
So
is
that's why I don't touch this at all. I do automatic writing because you know by the things they tell you or the questions you ask, they will only come and tell you. They connect with me. Firstly, they connect with me a day before the session, and they will tell me things. And say, tell my daughter this. So usme se you know that you're connecting to the right soul because they're giving you such deep details which only the family members will know, and they know. Nobody else will know that.
when you connect to a new generation, Gen Zs, do they believe in all that thing?
There is curiosity, for sure. It's a very interesting question, actually. There is a lot of curiosity. Um, I have one or two Gen Z clients who do believe in it. In fact, there's one girl who keeps coming back to me, and she keeps coming for guidance and tarot. There is curiosity. There is also belief, but skepticism be here. Everyone is skeptical till you actually are in that situation where you're seeking help. Otherwise, you will not really believe in it. It's only you need to experience it to understand what the process is all about.
So sometimes it happens, when you are into the process, you say, okay, I believe in everything, and suddenly you're like, what I did, I mean, do I really need that and all that? वैसा भी होता है आपके साथ?
But I have people who argue with me. I have people who try and refute the theory. And it's like we were speaking earlier, your faith is your faith, my faith is my faith.
My faith, yes.
I'm not here to prove myself. I'm not here to prove the process works or not. It's very simple. And जैसे कि आपने कहा कि that when the calling is there, the person reaches. It's like that. When you will I attract a certain kind of people who are serious and who want to do it, and they get the results. I also tell people that don't come just out of, अच्छा auto writing, हाँ चलो देखते हैं, I'll call someone. I said no, I said it will not work. एक तो you have to have faith in the process. And you've got to really believe in the process for it to work. Otherwise, why will that spirit, why will the soul waste its time and come and talk to you? And I've actually had a case where, the parents, I think, were skeptical about it, and they still came, and they were always trying to validate, to prove, because they had lost a young child. And the child got bored and went and played with his friends over there. He refused to talk to them.
Being a child.
He's a child. Yeah. And I kept telling them that don't keep cross-questioning. You will know it is your child. I know it is your child. But you will know it is your child. Just talk to him. They were testing.
So, Sharmila, tell me one thing. When a 40 years old dies, he has 40 years old soul. When a 16 years old dies, he has 16 years old soul. But when a newborn dies, okay, his soul is also newborn. Now 40 years has their own experience, 60 years have their own experience with the family or near dear, with the dear ones. But the newborns, they don't have such experience or connectivity. So if they comes, what kind of message they will give, or how the parent will know that this is my newborn?
So firstly, I'd like to correct you. The 40-year-old soul is not 40 years of experience. The 40-year-old soul is millions of years of experience, because the soul only changes form. But the soul is the same soul that is basically traveling across lifetimes. But yes, picking up different experiences. So in a way, you're correct. We're saying that it's a 40-year-old experience in that sense. But it also has experiences of many lifetimes it has lived through. In the case of a newborn, we can't go by what we know as physical, because it's about language, etc. So with the newborn, the soul will find its way to communicate what it has to communicate. But it's very difficult to, or maybe it's not difficult. I have personally never had, it's a very interesting question actually, because I've never really communicated with a newborn. But I would actually like to do that, to see what is it that the soul says. And see, we say, that even children in the stomach, in the womb, are very sensitive.
Yeah.
And you are sensitive to your mother's feelings, emotions, everything. So I'm sure they will share something on similar lines, because they are, at the end of the day, that is being fed to them. So I'm sure at the end of the day, they will say certain things.
That why they came, just to make you feel like, a parent.
To feel like a parent, to feel, maybe it's a karmic tie, maybe it's to feel like a parent. But it would be interesting to do that also. Yeah, I would actually like to I hope I get a case like that, to understand that. It's very interesting.
Sometimes, we meet a few children and you look at them and you feel that they are different. Okay, they have their own way of playing, they have their own way of understanding, and you feel like they don't belong here. What do you think about these kind of children?
So two things. One is it could be karmic. They are, obviously of a higher frequency, of a higher vibrational level than most kids are, because all of us are vibrationally, we all have vibrations and we vibrate at different frequencies. But the other thing which you will find surprising, Shweta, is that they could also be extraterrestrial. They could be from another planet.
It really exists?
It does exist. There are people from other planets who are here. There are people from other planets who try to communicate with humans out here. I personally know an Akashic reader who is trying to be, who has been reached out to by the Anunnaki, which is an extraterrestrial being, and they were also the gods in the Egyptian times. If you Google them, you'll find a lot about them. There has been a case that I had of a young child for auto writing, and he finally was disinterested, and then there is a recording later on between him and his mother where he's actually told his mother that he was here only for a short while because he's from another planet and he was sent here as punishment, and the punishment period was over and he was now going back. So there are cases where even people out here are actually from another planet who've come here either to study, they've been sent here for a reason, they've been sent here for punishment. They also talk about aliens impersonating humans and walking around. I believe everything, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, a kid came here because he was punished, but he came to a parents, right?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of karmic connection they had? Because now his punishment is over, he is gone. But these parents, they are still in pain,
Right.
and going through trauma.
Right.
So, what kind of connection they carry?
Well, they were hoping that one of the questions they asked him was that if we try for another child, will you come back? And he didn't answer that question because it's also very difficult to answer. That's also because when we die, and I will use the word souls because the physical body is shed, souls go up there and there is actually, like you saw that council, there is actually a council that happens. And in that council, the soul decides their future life. So if you, Shweta, are here right now with the family you have and with the things you do, it's because you have already pre-decided this at that time. Of course, you might have not said, I want to do a podcast, but you would have said things like, I want to bring unknown people and hear their stories or bring them into the limelight. So, so out here, I mean, it's very strange to say because somewhere in that karmic thing, he might have asked for parents and he got this, or he was put out here. The parents might have asked for a different karmic thing in a previous life. Maybe they felt that in one life they must have said, oh, I'm not a good parent, make me a better parent in my next life. And they came as better parents in this life, but it was short-lived. It's very difficult to say unless you actually get into regression of the parents to understand where they're coming from.
So, before, we never used to talk about these things so openly, right? Because I know my, ancestor, my dadi and all that thing, they knew that these things happened, but they never spoke openly, right? But now we talk about all these things so openly. What was the reason, like being a healer yourself, what was the reason that they wanted to, keep all this thing under wrap?
I don't think anyone really kept it under wraps. I think there's just been a lot more awareness because of more exchange happening with the internet happening, with social media happening. I think there's a lot of more open conversations and exchange happening about it. We've always spoken about it even earlier. Maybe Dadi has not used the term automatic, auto writing, but she would have in other ways communicated messages that we get or certain rituals that we do. Or like we have in some cultures you have the 4th day, Chautha, or you have the 13th day. That is also releasing the soul and letting the soul go up to a certain realm, So I think information has been there, but maybe just spoken in a different language, without using the kind of terminology or without giving the kind of importance that we are doing today. Even healing, we did have our own ways of, I mean, Dadi and all had their own ways of healing. The healing could have been through Ayurveda.
Yes.
It could have been through meditation. It could have been through other religious or spiritual practices.
Yeah.
So, the same objectives have been there, but maybe different ways of doing them.
Doing it. Okay. Now when we talk about all these things so openly, do we lose the sacredness of it?
Not at all. Not at all. You don't lose the sacredness of it at all. In fact, it is good to talk about it openly, because sometimes a lot of people need these kind of support rather than, kya hota hai ki, and this is something I've heard, that they say that one of a very interesting thing is when they talked about schizophrenia or any such thing, they say that is because the kundalini, especially, and if you notice, typical, sometimes this schizophrenia and all might happen in an accident, after an accident or after a certain thing. And one of the theories is that the kundalini has jumped and has got stuck somewhere here. So it's interfering with your vibrations. And that is what is causing schizophrenia. And there have been certain practices of energy healing which in the early ages of schizophrenia or bipolarism have been able to cure that, because then you're resettling your chakras, you're resettling your balances. So yeah.
So I had spoken to somebody and they said, if you're calling the past one, or you're asking them to help you, or you're keeping them under a contract, does it work like that?
I don't know about a contract, but I would suggest that don't keep calling them. And I tell this even to my clients, कि आपको जो भी पूछना है अभी पूछ लीजिए. Come with your list of questions. Come with everything you want to know, because if you want to talk to them again, you talk to them after 6 months or you talk to them after a year, because they also ascend, no? They are also moving across levels, and if you are holding on to them and keeping them here, they are never going to be able to cross over to higher realms, and they also get tired after a point of talking to you and asking you and answering your questions.
So calling them back to us, does that hamper their journey over there?
It hampers their progress, yes. But typically the calling will not happen because you want it, the calling will happen because they want it.
Oh.
Yeah. They are the ones who want to communicate a message. They are the ones who know that you're going through something and you need that clarity and closure. So they will engineer that meeting between you and the medium.
So it's like somebody said, no, I want to have this connection and I want a session with you. So it's like channelized by...
It's them. It's all engineered by them. It has happened in the strangest of places, where I've, walked into somebody's and I said, what do you do? I said, oh, I'm a medium, I'm an automatic writer. And then, oh my God, we've just been looking for one, I want to talk to my father and we want to go to one, but we don't know a credible one to go to. See, a lot of people are also abusing the profession, no?
Sometimes it happens that somebody comes and I is saying that I want to call this sage and I want to listen his thought. Sometimes
yes,
it happens.
that also I do. It's called channeling, where I've channeled, I can channel gods, I can channel sages, I can channel saints, and they do give messages. Those are very short sessions. They're about 10-15 minute sessions. They will come, they will give you the messages, and then they go.
And suddenly you feel overwhelmed by a thought of a certain deities and all, and then you say, I think they want to communicate something with me. And
it does happen also, yes, it does happen also. I know when, I'm very connected to Ganpati Papa. So I know when he's talking to me, I know when I'm getting a message from him. I know sometimes I'm very frustrated and then I'll hear this voice in my head, just chill, it'll work out, And then I know when they talk to me, at least I can. Honestly, Shweta, everyone can. But nobody sits and listens. Nobody sits and quiet. If you really sit and listen to what is this intuition and gut feel and all that we talk about actually? It's, in a way, it's messages that are being communicated to you, but nobody really wants to sit and listen to it or has the time to listen to it or believes in it.
So we always been taught like no, listen to your body, listen to your body. I think our body also indicates like what we are feeling and yeah.
Totally. Your body will tell you, your heart will tell you. Human beings operate from ego. We should operate from intuition. That's how you listen to it.
So, but today's scenario, does that allow you to work according to your body signals?
See, nothing will allow you. You will have to make it work. You can't wait for somebody else's permission to tune into your own body or to tune into your own intuition or energy. You have to make that happen. It is a lot of, requires a lot of discipline. It requires certain processes. But if you don't make the time for it, then you will never have the time for it. Because we will never have the time for it. You know, there's always something.
So earlier we were discussing about the money, like people, you don't know what kind of past life they had. That's why they are going through some money problem. So how they correct it? It's like they have to go back to their past and do the correction.
So what we do is we take you back to your past life, and a lot of times they say that a lot of times your dying thought is what predicts your next life. It is also
when you say dying thought, can you just elaborate?
So there was a case where somebody basically had a very extravagant lifestyle, okay, and the extravagant lifestyle got so much so that bahut ayashi hua and all that, and obviously it led to health deterioration. And when the person was on the deathbed, it was like, oh God, I mean, all this money I had and I had such a bad life. Please, if this is how it is, I don't want to be like this in my next life.
Oh.
Okay, now it could just be a thought. Ki, theek just give me something where I lead a good life, I'm a healthy life, and I don't have this, where I'm wasting money. In the next life, he was struggling. He was struggling for money. He had food, he had his basic things, but he couldn't go beyond that, because he was struggling for that. And then there are certain processes you have to do to reverse that. You take them back, you change that dying thought. It's basically a whole procedure that we do in PLR.
So we meet some people who are actually very giving. We meet some people who are actually, they just want to take from you, right? So that is also depends on the past life karma.
Yeah. Some of it is this life, some of it is past life.
Or we are building our upcoming life.
Or you've said that in my next life I want to be, I want to resolve this karma. It could be anything. It could also be people just taking advantage of you.
Yeah. So it has ever been with you that you called somebody and that hampered your peace? And though you told me that you are unaware.
You called someone like in automatic writing? Or,
or
spirit
in
or something.
Spirit.
I don't recollect, no. But more than spirits hampering, people's energies have hampered.
The existing people.
Living people, yeah. They have actually hampered, I would say, they have affected me somewhere.
Any experience about it?
We have this thing called energy vampires. So, if you go to any, and since you are also energy sensitive, you will know that sometimes when you go for any occasion or any place where there's a crowd, there will always be somebody sucking on your energy, and you will come back feeling extra tired than what you are. So in that case, you've got to do a certain procedure, a certain white light showering to protect yourself. With me, it's happened with certain people. That after I meet them, I'm just drained. And I might just meet them for 1 hour or something, but I've actually come back. I actually came back and I couldn't get out of bed for like 2 days. I just wanted to just sit and do nothing. And I've just tried to avoid those people again. So it's more from the living people than the deceased. See, the deceased, because it is energy work, I do get tired sometimes. But then you're okay after a point. But this was a complete... It was like somebody actually, cycle ka pump leke or vacuum leke has pulled out everything out of me. It was actually like that.
Sometimes it happens that you go in a crowd and you suddenly feel that everything you could hear, like what they are, just by looking at them you feel like, I know what you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. How to close yourself?
Just block it. Don't pay attention. You just got to block. Like one of the things I do is a visualization technique. I literally, if I have to block my channels, I literally imagine one block going across and closing my channels. The other thing, if it's getting really bad, is another process where you imagine this egg-shaped thing in front and you're painting it in purple from down to up,
Yeah.
and then you take that egg and you put it on your head like
Okay.
a thing. Not an actual egg, huh?
Yeah, understood.
But then you put it on your head, and then that itself protects you. So that blocks you from all the signals.
The
You should not
energy is flowing. Yeah.
block yourself from signals. Just or mentally, just tell yourself to block it.
Sharmila, nowadays everything has become fashion. Like you talk about mantra or spiritual sign or even a tattoo. Some people make very dark and deep design tattoos. Does those affect ourselves?
Nothing will affect you unless, yes, the dark and deep tattoos can affect you, because if you're putting a Satan or you're putting something negative and you think it's very fashionable, it can affect you, because then you're attracting those energies. As regards mantras and all, if you don't believe in it, if you don't have faith in it, like Shivratri recently, we've just finished Shivratri. And one of the things I was telling, what I spoke about on my post was that, yes, you're doing it, but why are you doing it? Are you doing it कि अच्छा सब लोग जागरण कर रहे हैं तो चलो I will also do it. But you're sitting in that जागरण and you're looking at your phone. Then मत करना.
But the fact is, Mahashivratri is not their wedding day. Everybody celebrates it a wedding
They
day.
say it's a wedding day. Even
Yeah.
I've been told it's the wedding day.
So people celebrate it, but as per my knowledge, that it's not a wedding day. It's the day the Shivji created the Shivling. Okay, so obviously there was a certain milan of
certain
energies
milan,
and
correct,
all that.
right.
But okay, that's the fashion thing,
So yeah, actually, I was told it was a union, not really
Union.
wedding. There was a union.
Yes.
But I feel that a lot of people do things because A, like you said, it is fashionable to do it,
Yeah.
and B, because एक selfish reason होती है to do it. But do it because you want to do it. Do it even if you have a selfish reason, do it and feel you're doing it. If I'm supposed to say the Hanuman Chalisa 108 times, then be in that moment and say it 108 times. I can't be having the book open and 108 times, and 108 times my mind is going in different directions. So whatever you need for it to give you some impact and some effect, and I've seen it happening with me also. I'm going through a Rahu Mahadasha right now. So when I say the Rahu mantra, because I have to say, nothing happens. But when I actually sit in that moment, and yes, your mind will wander, but you've got to bring it back, and I actually say it 108 times, there is a difference I feel. There is a difference I know what happens in the environment.
And the same thing happens with the tattoo symbols.
With the tattoos, it's very hep to say dark and all that, but at the end of the day, then you are attracting dark energies, and you don't know how that energy will manifest itself in, how it will affect you or it will affect your family members.
So if somebody wants to have tattoos, because it's very common nowadays, so what kind of designs they should have?
A lot of them have mantras, a lot of them have happy symbols, they have symbols of luck. Don't get into something which is to do with the occult, which is to do with black magic, even if you think it's very fashionable, but there's a reason those symbols are there. Like there's some people who will do the whole pentagram thing, and but then there's a reason why it's a pentagram, and the reason it's attracting something. So stay
Be
away.
specific with it.
Yeah, why?
And it's better
What is
to
the
stay
point?
away, yeah.
What is the point of being dark? It also reflects something about you as an individual, no? If you're moving into that kind of a thing.
If you would like to give some safety tips for the new generation kids, because they keep going everywhere. And as you rightly said, that these things are everywhere. So can you suggest few things for them?
Yeah, I can suggest, but I don't think they'll do it, because how the new kids are, they're very curious. One of the things I'd say is, especially since we were talking about planchette, please don't play with planchette. Because that is the most dangerous thing to do. Do not take the spiritual world lightly. Do not go by all the horror comedies like the Strees and the munjias or whatever it is, because it's really a world you do not want to mess with, especially if you have no knowledge and especially if you're not strong enough to handle them. The second thing I would say is stop bragging about things, because kahan se nazar aati hai you don't know. Not all people you have good intentions. So try, I know this, we have this whole social media status about, you know, mine is the biggest and the flashiest and the bestest. So please try and avoid doing that, because you don't know what kind of negativity you're attracting or what kind of jealousy you're attracting. And I know a lot of people don't believe in these things, but these things do exist. Black magic does exist, spells and all do exist, so be careful about that. Try and be quiet as possible. And the third thing I would say is that even if you don't want to get into all this, but to protect your energies when you're stepping out, just take a few grains of salt and put them on your crown chakra out here. And you know, if your mom is giving you some protective taweez or something to wear, there must be something in it. So don't scoff this, don't poo-poo this and saying ye kya hai, because there is a reason why these things are there, and there's a reason why somebody is asking you to wear them. So definitely protect yourself in every way. Prayer is the best form of protection, even if it's 2 minutes of it. Believe in something, have some faith, because there's always someone that will, you know, help you, and definitely your spirit guides will be there when you call upon them. So I mean, it's entirely up to you what you want to follow or not follow, but this is my advice to not just the younger generation, I'd say to everyone actually.
Nice, thank you. You might have met, you know, a lot of people, and they might have asked you all kind of question. But when, like, there is one question you want that somebody should ask me, but it's been never asked.
Oh. I can't think of anything actually right now. But you're saying ask me in terms of clients asking me?
Anything, you know, about your life or about your work or from the clients, you know, anything.
Well, it's not about any question asking me, but I would really like people to, okay, I would like people to ask me more about the processes, more about automatic writing, more about spirit guide communication. And the reason I say that is because, you know, while these sound scary, they're not really scary. They are actually processes that can give you a lot of clarity, they can give you a lot of closure, they can actually bring peace into your life. Connecting with someone you've loved all your life, or talking to your spirit guides who are actually all around you, and they are your protectors and they're there to guide you. So I would love it if people asked me more to understand the thing and to dispel all the myths and misconceptions that are there, rather than just go by what they read or what is misinformation actually.
So don't gather the misinformation, go for the right direction.
And you know, even if somebody wants to just call me up to understand it or write to me about it, I'm very happy with that also.
Thank you so much. So this was my closing question, and it was such a nice conversation, you know, where now I feel like I need to explore, you know, and I need to talk to a few people.
Right.
And thank you so much for sharing this so openly.
Thank you. I'd just like to share my Insta handle so people can reach out to me.
Sure.
It's Sharmila_psychic. So if anyone has any questions, any misconceptions, any doubts they want to clear, just message me and you'll definitely hear from me.
Thank you so much for coming on Dear Voice podcast.
Thank you for having me here. Great.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I loved it. You asked some really challenging questions, which was really nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.